I quickly shut the window, sat down on the edge of the bed and thought, tu Felix Austria nuba. Now everything was falling apart, as when a family shares out the estate of a dying relative.
Trumpet flashes, with every time I blink my eyes tears, forming little structures that actually prevent you from sleeping and revisiting. We base everything we say about each other upon a fiction. The fiction, the paintings of the painters, mine, Munch's, say, or someone else's. I don't always find eternity that distressing or daunting a concept. Actually, I feel at home there.
He was right. Breathing heavily, he left the compartment. He had not approached me. I felt that his sort of prescience was unwelcome. It represented the dead hand of fate from which I wanted no revelations. No light yet burned in the future for me, I knew, and in the grey dream of the past I wanted to sleep no longer. Perhaps the present was not particularly hospitable, but it was clearer than anything that came before or after, clearer than all that one had imagined or would imagine.
They used the subtlest of phrases, tendering to each other, bartering and exchanging where necessary. Excessive enjoyment in female company was in part because almost all men of that generation had been directly responsible for the death of another, or so it felt. Bedroom conflict suddenly so benign, it was okay to be a bit Wagnerian about things. Another central concern was that the ropey power supply wouldn't manage the extra demands for electrical current. So it's to be an indoors painting, that figures. The table so dominant and overlarge in the middle of the room that everybody's pinched into the corners like old abandoned Kirk pews, barely able to move, their rifles plumb vertical. Sometimes it feels as though everything takes place not on land but underwater, sucked down to the plug hole of Loch Broom.
Oscar is well aware of his peers and how important they will be. Not to say known, but leaving something important. In his breast pocket, a list. Oscar carries his totem cross and hums a folk song. It is an integral part of Celtic musical culture for alcohol to be consumed where people congregate. Instruments are tuned. Oscar finds a dead animal, the crowd sways. He is careful to keep his list hidden. July night, burning longboat. New rubber tumble, a head in step, a dead animal again. It's a fish, that's fine.
The only light, a flame-red nightgown, which he remembers Alma wearing in 1912, back when both halves of Enfant Terrible still seemed to fit. Exchange is a compulsion, not a theme. Ullapool is a state of mind, so different to Vienna. The self is a compulsion, not a theme. Alma is a memory, not a place. But you're basically always there, basically always painting in this spooky little place, this echoing pool of ululation. Ullapool is a compulsion, and I felt it before I ever came here. I painted here. Before my feet set foot here, my brushes did. And once they did, they always would.
Oscar's pin holds the postcard from Lerwick. Oscar of that whose nation is all connecting. Water connecting neon. There can be no escape for us, Colin. No hope. Nor home, nation, fame. No question add to every want, all arch. To put up text quick, live even, a mad whale, all day a whale work. Uncaught, up they did of it. I'd think him, no her. They gulls have been warning, she comes, ovulating sea foam, creating new ones to crush him.
Kokoschka cries, the art of being loved, the trajectory of baroque palpitations. I have found inexpensive books on Kokoschka difficult to find, so put yourself in his shoes, clipped and gluey. Someone has a major crush on the word crush, on the palette, mixing your own paint, crushing your own skull. How does Emil Nolde fit into this? Ernst Ludwig Kirchner? But back to me. I crush the metal petals of spitfires in paintings of sheep. I make them really woolly and stupid looking, really tragic.
I first met Alma on the 12th of April 1912 on the occasion of a dinner held at the house of her stepfather, Karl Moll. A frenzied amour fou subsequently developed, which was coupled with an unbridled creative urge. Until the end of the liaison in 1915, I created around 450 drawings and paintings bearing a relationship to Alma.
Stilted and quaking, way too mature for all this. The apostrophe needles all the words around it. Kokoschka delivers an enormous splatter onto his palette, skillful twisting of the skinny knife, only an echo of something fraught and frenzied.
A reputation for making notes has turned into a resource for our exchanges. A repeating that I've come to be known for, like envy, is latticed on the common, like knowing painting but not having paint. My using this material twice is the fact of the crude being made of the deadest things compressed, as once paint was made of. I recall Alma, that is Catherine, in some production or other asking if all ink came from squids. The audience were all, some were animals even. Dumped by Alma in 1915 and twice wounded in the war, I infamously sought to cauterize my various griefs by commissioning the Stuttgart puppet maker Hermine Moose to fabricate an exact life-size replica of my lost love. The point of all this for me is an experience which I must be able to embrace.
You say white magic, I say lust. You say finger stump, I say something new. You say bombs, I say the complete devastation of humanity, which isn't to say extinction, and if it was, I wouldn't have performed that lustful trick. I'd have left things where they are, because after all, does a sheep go racing to the loch every minute it hears a shot? Does barbed wire do anything but maim?
Thank you, Colin.